tonight. This is my first video podcast. Oh. Well, maybe I'll just do this. Hello. Someone is just giving me the mic like that, huh? Well, I guess we'll have to look at fixing that. Okay, hold please. Oh yeah, those threads are worn right the fuck out. Okay. Hi, welcome everyone to Patriot Princess Podcast. I am Liz, your host, noturcommonshaman. I'm really going for it tonight. I'm excited to do this first video and excited to really approach this from an authentic place. I've got my crystals sitting in front of me. I got a quartz. I got a green moss agate. I think that's what it is. Desert rose. They're all very poignant for me as a shaman, starseed healer, here to aid in the rise of human consciousness. I'm going to tell you what I pull out of this bag because, dang, Spirit sends me messages and everything. And yeah, the first card that I pulled out, I didn't even shuffle, but it is the healing card, the strength card. My daughters are little starseeds and they keep telling me to be strong, mommy, be strong, mommy. So I'm going to pull a card just as a sign for how this is going to go. We're going to shuffle a little bit. Actually, let's clear the energy. Got quartz crystal. Let's clear the energy of these cards to give us spirit, give us a good message for this podcast tonight. What is going to flow through us? Because tonight we're talking truth. And being authentic and not having fear and remembering what's going on right now. So, Spirit, we thank you for the opportunity to have another day, for the opportunity to choose to live with joy and to choose an authentic life. And we ask you to bless this podcast. I welcome in my ancestors of the highest love and light, my spirit guides of the highest love and light, my angels of the highest love and light to be with me as I share this message and flow through me in whatever way I need to be a vessel this evening, this morning. It's midnight. Oh, it's 12:30. Dang, we'll do a short one tonight. They do want me to get some sleep. So, let's see what we pull. And while I talk about this, the intro that I'm going to give you tonight is really about being my authentic self, because my authentic self is a shaman, a medicine woman, a psychic medium, and one more. Yep. Somebody wants me to play some pipes. We've got, what do we get tonight? We got the Two of Bowls, the Ace of Arrows, the Two of Arrows, and the Five of Pipes. So the way it's intuitive, really. A lot of times that's the thing. We have, yes, there's a lot of sacred ceremonies and rituals that we go into in a very specific way, but it's also remembering that people are doing things intuitively as well, and how it plays out for you and what it means to you when you're doing it is important. Okay. They give you some recommendations on what your layout is going to be, but I didn't lay them out that way as I was drawing them. So I actually like to do Two of Bowls. This is a new set of cards that I just got from their Medicine Woman cards. This is the They're actually Medicine Woman Tarot by Carol Bridges. They're beautifully illustrated. I don't know how well you can see that with my lighting. These were given to me as a gift by a shop owner. They own a place called Bargain Hunters in Westminster, Maryland, and that story is fun. When I went in there, the things that just jump out at me that I'm like called to are insane because I get messages everywhere. And the big one in there, 12:33 on the dot as I said it. The big one in there is this giant log cabin sitting up on the edge. This pen is also poignant. Sitting up at the edge of this cabinet. Hot tea. Because it's a past life that I lived. My shamanic life. I've had multiple, but I'll show you this tattoo. Let me take the sweatshirt off so you can see it. I've been asked by Spirit to step into the persona, wisdom, character of this past life that I had. My name was Kaya. And I got Pocahontas there. This is my trinity of who I had to be for women growing up. Cinderella cleaning up after everybody else while they went and got their prince. And I was, Tiana in the swamp kissing the frogs, looking for Mr. Right, listening to everybody go, oh, but he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy, give him a chance. And I'm like, but I really, and they're like, oh, come on, don't break his heart. What the fuck about me? And this lady, who was not afraid to use her voice, they died in childbirth. Anyway, there's a whole twin flame link with the log cabin, and I keep getting these messages to remember who you were in that cabin. Remember who you were in that cabin. Remember, remember, remember. And when I walked into that store, there was this giant log cabin sitting up there, and it has a Christmas ornament, like an etched Christmas ornament that says "Remember" with a cross. Like, remember who you are, that you're a light worker, right? What's your cross to bear? This is my cross to bear. Ooh. Opening my throat, the heyoka. And me stepping into this role, my family said, oh, you're culturally appropriating shamanism. And it's like, no, you're culturally appropriating being hippies. We're loving everyone. But no. I am looking for my tribe, though, because I'm in the wrong place. So I got distracted. We're going to read what these are. But that's the crux of it, is right now I'm stepping into what I agreed to do before I came here as a light worker, as we all do in our soul contracts. And I have been so scared to step into it because of the energy vampires, soul contracts that have been surrounding me and sucking me back into this just forgetting. And I've just been in this like karmic loop after karmic loop after karmic loop, trying to jump. And I have been to like my cup, Little Miss Princess. You can tell if you grew up in the 80s because you'll remember these books. Her little crown. Wear your crown, ladies. Remember whose child you are. I have been scared to step into it because I've been staying in this fear-based loop. And we're finally getting out of it. Here I am in front of the camera. And what's happening is the past 2 weeks I stepped into this, like, getting rid of everything, being stripped of all the worldly possessions, living in my car and a tent and this pull-behind camper trailer. Well, first it was a camper. Gosh, this whole story. First it was a big old camper that was too big for me to tow. Finally selling that. Let the guy who bought it convince me that his off-the-grid box trailer with solar panels would be a good option. And it's not terrible, but where I am right now, I need to just travel lightly, and it gives me just some place to shove a bunch of stuff and hide, and that's not what I want. So now we're down to my SUV, which is a Ford Expedition Max, a 5x8 tow-behind box trailer, a tent, and my dog. Storm. He's sleeping. we're in a hotel right now because I treated myself. Well, it was supposed to be like 2 nights, and it turned into 4 because I didn't get it together and like figure out where it was going. I started panicking a little bit, but everything happens for a reason. And I met another light worker here at this hotel who is just absolutely wonderful, and we've been helping to inspire one another, which is great, and support each other. And I needed someone to show me some support and love to be able to get out and do this. My confidence was just like absolutely crumbling. And that's what happens when you spend so much time around someone who is just trying to convince you that you're the opposite of what you are, who you are. So that's where we are right now, is that we're literally doing this whole like going into the woods, going to live on the beach thing, and grounding to like flush everything out and have this like final initiation. Right? That's what happens to the high. Jesus went to the desert. Yeshua, even Jesus went into the desert. And that's also the crux of all of this as a light worker. So hang on. I digress. I'm so distracted by like, pew, 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 pew. There's so much to talk about. Two of Bowls. Again, what I was saying is this is a new set that I really haven't used a lot, and I'm learning about tarot. It's coming back. It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now. All right. Two of Bowls is to conceive of love with another. That's what's coming. Ace of Arrows. What do we have? Ace of Arrows. Will to do. I have the will to do this job. I need to commit myself to this job. Two of Arrows. Oh, what's the doodle? The Two of Arrows is will to do. No, the Ace of Arrows is will to do. 2 is right under it. Aim high above the common thought, which that's what we're going for here, is we're getting rid of common thoughts because they shouldn't. I mean, common sense is one thing, but like the basic level thinking of today is done. 5 of Pipes. Allure through opposition or inertia. That's fun. So this is actually like, oh, there's a buck on there. When this comes out to me, when I read this, based on my personal journey that I'm getting and what I am talking about right now, and everything that comes to me, this conch shell, the lace, the like Hawaiian theme here, this like tropical Polynesian island dealio is where I'm headed when I step into my goal. When we're here on the twin flame journeys, the 144,000. That's the part we got to get it back into, huh? We're in the ascension of human consciousness right now, including Earth ascension, the final ascension to Sheen, when, Yeshua says, my Father's house has many rooms, and I will come back and take you to a place He's prepared for you. The turmoil and chaos in my life is waking up to that remembrance of, I'm a soul, I'm an extraterrestrial soul, starseed here, having a human experience for a mission right now. And I had this awakening that just, like, straight into, holy shit, like, I just knew all this stuff that happened. I went down the Diddy hole, talked about this in other episodes if you haven't listened to any of them. I went down the rabbit hole with the P. Diddy stuff on TikTok and just, like, was like, oh, this is all real. The Book of Enoch is real. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, I just finished listening to that finally, and I'm like, oh, I've been through these karmic loops over the last 9 months since I had my, like, blown third eye. Hasn't been pretty the whole time, but I've been doing it, and I've gone through these phases of, like, being right there at a leap into authenticity, and this getting on the road actually is the whole big thing. Getting in this car, doing this like cross-country journey of reclaiming all the parts of my soul and healing myself and sharing it with everybody and being an example of what we have to do to get into our Christ consciousness mode, because Christ wasn't his name. Jesus Christ wasn't his name. Christ is the consciousness that he came to teach us, the ascension that he came to teach us, not a religion to worship one person. He was a Pleiadian starseed here to bring this message as well. And this is all the stuff that I woke up to, all the, child sacrifice for entertainment purposes only, all the child sacrifice that's happening, the child trafficking, the human trafficking, just the pedophilia, rampant pedophilia in politics, in Hollywood, in people literally selling their soul to the devil, worshiping negative entities. Our water is poison, our food is poison, our programming is poison. It's all been done, with embedded symbology to keep us numb and dumb and distracted and literally brainwashed. Ding. I'm going to give myself my own ding on that. And waking up to this, as well as in general, like years of my life, getting into these cycles of focusing on taking care of myself. But your body is your temple, as Yeshua came to teach us, as well as others. He's not the only teacher that we've had come through, and that was his point that he was trying to teach us. Stop worshiping me as one person. It's the message. It's the way of life. It's what I've come to teach you that you're supposed to appreciate. And yes, appreciate your teacher, but not worship one person as the only son of God who came here to sacrifice himself, because that wasn't the case. He didn't come here specifically to die. He came here with a message that upset the government, that upset the religious authorities, that upset the status quo, because so many people were listening to him finally, and they killed him for it. He was killed for it. But he came to teach us to be healthy, right? He came to teach us the proper ways of detoxing your body, detoxing your mind, and getting into this lightness where love really is the end-all be-all. But what it comes down to is like, hey, he was also in the temple flipping tables when people were gambling and doing things in the name of the Lord, and when he knew they were wrong. And I woke up to this, and like I was saying, years of my life was, finding myself in the circle of dedicating my purpose to helping people. I left a corporate soul-sucking job to get into personal training years ago, and 10 years ago, and loved it. But I ended up in a company that was, a gym that was sucking the life out of me as well. But moving into those health-based realms is where my life is taking me to help others. And the thing that is really tied through all of it that cracked me open is the trigger warning. Sexual assault trauma, the psychological trauma, suicidal ideation. And as I say this, I'm reminded that it is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and that is, something I'm going to talk heavily about. I talked about it in other episodes as well, of just the fact that I opened up, I'm divorcing an alcoholic narcissist, which many of us are, because as an empath, as a healer, as a, Kayoko, whatever your role is that you're here for, but healers, we tend to have this ability to see people for who they are on the inside and who they could be. But most of the time we're not dealing with people who have that same respect. And that's when you get into the empath-narcissist dynamic, because you're usually going to end up with somebody that you're following an example that you've been shown of what's acceptable behavior, because it's learned behavior. And also, it's like the need to fix people or to support people, or you feel bad for leaving somebody for standing up for yourself. and they're feeding off your light. They need you to feel whole because they've blocked themselves off from source. There's this great little illustration that I've seen that's like, source is up here, we have our funnel, we get our energy directly from source, it comes down, fills us, and we go about our day. But people that are completely blocked off, closed off in their pineal gland, closed off in their blockages, they need others to feed off of that light. They're not getting their light directly from source. They're blocked off here, and so they've got this, ping out looking for who's full of light, who can I feed off of to stay whole. But this is where I'm headed, because as the light workers, we're here as these, this is the proverbial apocalypse. It's just not exactly the way everybody expects it to be as it's, written or preached in church in the book of Revelations. But there's a lot of poignant stuff in there, and these certain verses or certain sections keep coming up for me, and like snippets that I hear on the radio. And again, Spirit, clear audience, so Spirit sends me messages through songs, through conversations other people are having around me that I like ting into, or something pops out at me. And what it means to you, again, is poignant. But I'm headed for this big yawn, recognition yawn. This tropical life. With my boo and my conch shell as my grandma. She's like my fairy godmother, spirit guide that brings them all the time. But it's that tapping into we were voyagers and blowing the horn. It's like the horn of Jericho, but it's a conch shell. Bringing down the walls and revealing the truth. That's what gets us there, is bringing down the walls. The Ace of Arrows, gosh, how beautiful is this, is praying from what I'm taking from this by looking at it, my earth body up to my soul body that is in the stars and helping to guide me. And I've already been shown multiple times that the way that I am, when you incarnate different things, you can choose different paths, but I've already been shown kind of that it's like I'm in isolation on a spaceship, like in containment existence up there. Like she's sleeping up there trying to tap into me, and she's like, lady, wake up and you start talking. But tapping in to her, and I just realized that there's an owl over here on the left side. And owls are like my totem animals. I've got one tattooed on my foot, and a coyote over on the right side howling up at the stars. And that arrow straight up. I keep getting all these messages about the archer being the key. So this, which there's another story that goes with that, but that's poignant. And then right after that was the Two of Arrows. And now we're actually aiming that arrow, and we are firing. And this one is like Earth Mother that you're looking at. This is Sky Father, and there's that coyote and the buffalo. Just yes. And then this last one, 5 of Pikes. I gotta use those pikes. I gotta get out in the woods. Flutes are like huge for me, and music, and that buck has also been coming through. And usually, if you're in this twin flame journey, continuing to see bucks means, if you stay on the path that you're going on, you're going to meet your twin flame or come together. And all the twin flames right now, so that is when you go into the book of Revelations and we talk about the 144,000. We're talking about, yes, it's a frequency, but we are also talking about a subset of twin flame starseeds that are here for specific purposes to achieve specific things. And yes, it's a romantic link. It's a partner. You're two parts of the same soul, essentially mirroring each other so perfectly. You literally know everything in and out about how they operate. Now that Ace of Bowls just came through for me. And once you can get through your, healing process and be able to receive love appropriately, then you guys can be there to actually support each other in the most proper way. And pulls out an Ace of Bowls, which Receive love from the giver. I have had to be ready to receive love. And I haven't been able to receive love because I've been so fucking damaged by the people around me and releasing it and being ready to let go of it has been really hard. And for me, it's been stuff, belongings, and people. But now we get into the serious stuff about everything I've been digging into about why there's a lot of spirits, a lot of entities, a lot of souls that don't want me to talk, that don't want me to discuss what I know, because something just happened. How everything is linked. Are we still recording? I don't know what it's doing. This is uploading right now. Like it just stopped. But it's still going. So I'm going to keep talking. How everything is linked. That is my gift. And the biggest thing that is being hidden from us is self-healing. They don't want us to know, the powers that be don't want us to know that we can heal ourselves, that we don't need big pharma, that we don't need 9,000 gurus, that we don't need a bunch of people telling us what to do, that everything we have is inside of us. And we have to if we focus on that under the right conditions, like yes, there are people that are experts in certain areas that can help guide you towards that healing journey, especially like for me, just healing my nervous system and being led to information about the things that can help with that. Because the kicker here is we all have trauma. That's the other part that, they don't want us to know, is that reincarnation is real. We've been here, most of us, multiple times, going through a cycle of learning and having our human experience until we reach, our ascension point. And right now we're in that mass ascension point for everybody. And, that stuff like the hidden books of the Bible, well, they were hidden because they're real. The secrets of the government, they're secrets because most of it is real, and they don't want us to know what is actually going on, because when we are clear-headed and know what's going on, then we can't be controlled. And we are here as divine beings, full of energy and light, and have fallen into a control-based existence through fallen angels. Again, Book of Enoch, go read it, go listen to it. And, everything is put in front of us in plain sight for us to see. And I, waking up to all of this, was going, friends, family, countrymen, neighbors, come listen. Come listen and hear what's really going on so you can save yourself, so we can be saved. And, we're all already saved. Your soul is safe. Even if you die, like, you're going back home. But, this idea that humans on this planet as the only life forms are the best we got and that's all God made. Nope. Nobody. Nope. And honestly, the way that we've behaved century after century, do you think this is the best that we could do? No, but we're finally getting it. We're building New Earth right now. And me figuring out my role in that has been really challenging. And I'm still kind of stepping into that, figuring it out. That's why I'm being sent out into the frickin' woods. But the biggest thing that I know that I want to talk about, I mean, I have to apologize for gatekeeping because I personally have lost about 70 pounds over the last 7 months, 80 pounds over the last 7, 8 months, as a result of learning all this information, coming across how to detox my pineal gland, detox my body, my soul, and went into this full loop of isolating myself, getting this Airbnb, like jumping around to all these places, granted fighting getting on the road, but going to these places to literally like seclude myself and go through this ascension path. And a few months ago, I made a misstep that like really sent me back to like the first rung again. After all that work. And it's okay. I needed it. I needed it. Apparently. Anyway. You'll notice my body language changed and I started crossing everything. Now I have to talk about the difficult stuff. And it's all the stuff I don't want to get back into again. And I just keep avoiding having to talk about, but I have to talk about it and I have to heal it and I have to sing it and I have to write it. And there's just so many different ways that I have to get it out of my body because your body holds on to everything. And that's the crux of what we've been taught in this society and how we are treating each other and how our gender roles are taught to use and process emotion because it's incredibly important to our overall mental health and physical health as well. And when you are holding on to emotion and can't let it go and can't process it, it manifests in your body as a physical condition, as a medical condition, and really manifesting our own cancers. I was listening to this very interesting talk earlier by Dr. Robert Morse, who did kind of what I'm doing, going off into the woods and like fasting and living off berries and becoming a fruitarian. Now I am modified vegan and gluten-free at this point, which is the crux of what I've been doing for myself is detoxing the gut. Your gut health is everything. Chakra balancing, eating for your different chakras, like that's all of that. Our chakras are real energy centers in our bodies that hold memory and hold energy, and they are tied to everything. They're tied to all of the synchronicities that we get in the universe. Your root, your sacral at the base of your spine, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. And, they go up the chain, and our energy flows up from the root. So when we talk about healing, we got to start at the root of everything. And what do we do in this culture? It's Band-Aid culture. We put a Band-Aid on everything, and we treat the cause. We treat the symptom and not the cause. And if you're not getting to the actual cause of stuff, then it's never going to heal all the way. And we don't take into account most of the time that the cause, unless you're dealing with like a holistic healer or a naturopath, that the cause is coming from those chakra centers, and it's coming from generational trauma passed down through your DNA, and it is coming from past life experience as well. Like the things that you're scared of in this life, the things that you're scared of dying from have happened to you. I have been scared of being eaten by a shark my entire life. I've been scared of open water, and it's because, guess what? I was eaten by a fucking shark in a past life, and I figured that out in my ayahuasca ceremony. And that is, we're getting to the trauma part of the human life, because all the stuff that I've experienced as well as the other starseeds, we agree to come here into these like trauma-based tumultuous existences because it's what cracked you open to everything that's going on. And I personally, in this divorce I'm going through right now, have a nasty custody battle with a 2.5 and a 4.5-year-old. And again, I'm being reminded, like, your children are not your possessions. You have a soul path, and like, they do too. But speaking about the country that we live in that has allowed what has happened to me to happen, and not just me, women all over the place. Wake up. We have to wake up to the hypocrisy in action in America and the narcissistic, control-based existence that has been allowed to be here, and the way women have been treated. And actually, it's not just, I speak up for my fairy sisters, but our men are victims too, because they have been taught to control. We're in this narcissistic, control-based, and submissive, empath base in our relationships, but it's been done on purpose, and we've learned it. We've been taught to behave that way. Does that make sense? So, yes, the feminist movement of we need to free the fairies is part of my new patriot stance. We're going to free the fairies. Domestic slavery. Oh, big confirmation, guys. Is, women have been taught to be submissive. We've been taught to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, serving a man. Stand by your man. What if your man's an asshole? Treats you like shit, no matter what. Because that's who I was married to. And being told, I'm not mistreating you. He's not mistreated you. He's not done anything to you. Well, I married an alcoholic narcissist who was ashamed of his own behavior and told me that I was crazy every time I tried to bring up what he was doing and how inappropriate it was. Or this, religiously devout Christian family who does the opposite of what Christ teaches. I was actually, again, listening to a sermon today that popped up on the radio just at the right time for me to hear it. And it was talking about, Peter walking out of the boat, stepping out of the boat, walking on the water, and he felt like he was starting to sink. And I've been at that point so many times lately. And he looked at Yeshua and asked for help. And did Yeshua look at him and say, you got yourself into this mess and you need to get yourself out of it? No. He put his hand out and he helped. I've done that most of my life, is put my hand out and help people that didn't necessarily deserve it in the time. But the religious family that I'm in that believes I've lost my way, I'm not in this religious family, I take that back. This religious family I'm divorcing has told me I've lost my way, that what I'm getting into is just completely off-putting. Getting into plant medicine, natural methods of healing has really me trying to be vulnerable and honest and authentic with my ex about who I am, what I'm going through, what I'm healing, being open about the spiritual beliefs, and they've turned around and used it against me at every fell swoop in the court to paint me as an unfit mother and take my kids. However, I was supposed to get on this road trip thing months ago, and so you get violently realigned back onto your soul path. So they kind of put me in a position where, okay, now you don't have custody of your kids. Are you going to finally start speaking up about everything? And it is really has been so jarring to just see the people that claim to be as devout as they are follow it's a false narrative. And again, it's been put in place to brainwash us and keep us in fear. And that's exactly what they are, is afraid of me and what I'm saying, because I'm speaking their truth and I'm speaking my truth and I'm calling them out on hypocrisy. Yes, we're love and light, but we're also, when we see something, we say something. And during my existence with this family, I have said things over and over and over again and been painted as the bad guy. And most of everything I was saying is about health and what we're putting into our bodies and what we're putting into our minds. And juice and liquid diet is ultimately where we're going to get into your light body. So talking about brands I love. This is not a paid endorsement, but I did stop tonight to get gas and was pleasantly surprised to see organic cold pressed juice right after I was watching a thing about juicing. Pineapple, orange, banana, apple, mango, passion fruit, coconut from concentrate. Oh, I don't know that, but tropical glow. Ooh, it's manifesting tropical, and it's orange for sacral chakra to rise up, and that is my medicine woman side rising up. The ding, our ancestors rising up. Ding. To speak out about what's happened to America and the just usurping of land and culture, erasing of culture that happened here. And, you know, what is American culture? This is Patriot Princess Podcast because I'm fighting for the America that we should be living in. What is American culture? Is Native American culture. And Native American culture stems from Middle Eastern culture, and Middle Eastern culture stems from African culture. And everything started in Africa, and pretty much all humans started out black. I brought this over to reference if need be. Jesus did not look like this. Jesus was, like a black guy. Middle Eastern guy. And the misrepresentation to make everything this nice white, the miracle worker. We'll talk about it. Because there's magic. Magic is real. There's miracles and everything. That's what he came to teach us about healing. 1:10 on the clock as I said that. And the next big thing I'm going to talk about, the big thing I'm going to talk about besides the gut health and the poison, our water, is filled with stuff that is meant to keep us heavily leaded and affect our systems, affect our blood, and calcify your pineal gland. So I'm really going to be digging in on my website, and I'm going to start hosting some classes that are really online, that are really focused on teaching what I've learned about decalcifying your pineal gland, detoxing your gut, eating for your chakra balance. I'm launching a class this coming Monday called Fitness Flow Magic on Zoom. I'm going to share links tomorrow, and I'm going to schedule it a couple times a week. It is not just for women. It is geared towards women because that's my area of expertise, as you can see. But we all have a spiritual womb. The class is based on healing womb trauma through movement, especially the hips, through intuitive movement and allowing your body to be free and move the way that it wants to and have fun with it. It's about making movement and dance and joy prevalent in your healing process. And it doesn't, it's a safe place to express whatever you're feeling is going to be my point. And everybody's journey is different. And one person might be here having joy to whatever experience they're incurring, and the person next to them might be having an absolute meltdown because whatever's moving through them in the moment is different, and that's okay. And again, back to American culture, we say inclusivity and accept everybody and love everybody the way they are, and we want you to be healthy, but what kind of systems do we have in place? Blanket systems. Band-aid systems that don't treat the cause, and blanket systems where everybody gets the same thing regardless, and this is the policy. This is the paperwork you have to do. This is the policy that applies. Everything's about policy instead of person. Which one is man's law? Which one is God's law? Did Yeshua come down here to teach us a shitload of policies? No, he said stop listening to all these policies because they're keeping us out of flow. And everybody's different, everybody's custom, everybody needs custom treatment. Everybody's generational trauma is different, everybody's past life experiences are different, everybody's current life is different, experience is different. And that is where all your medical manifestations come from. Yes, it's also directly affected by what we're eating, what we're putting into our bodies, what's in the water, and those kinds of poisons, which is a whole nother thing because we're intentionally giving poison. Like stuff that's in our food that we're giving our kids is illegal in other countries. They're literally not even allowed to sell it over there because of the ingredients that are in it. And we're like, hi, can you please pump it into my child? Can you make sure it's in my kid's lunch, please? No! I stopped at a gas station. Ding. Ooh, it's 1:13 on the timer. I stopped at a gas station and on the way home tonight, on the way back to this hotel tonight, and the guy that was working there, we just started talking about energy stuff and people being weird, and he was like, Walmart's putting in these new, I gotta look up what kind of bulb he said it was, but Walmart's putting in some kind of like super powerful blue light that literally keeps people out of it. Lights make a difference. Sound makes a difference. Frequency makes a difference. Being surrounded by electromagnetic things makes a difference in how you operate and how your body operates, because our bodies are antennas. We have an electromagnetic frequency that operates through and around us. And where's the book of wisdom? Can I bring the book of wisdom up here that I can show you pictures? These things exist, and they've been proven scientifically as well. And that all gets disrupted by other people's energies, by the energies of the space that you're in, by the electronics and the lights and the noises. Some of the sounds you don't even hear is frequency-based. So, changing what you're drinking out of, what you're eating out of, all of this. I'm starting some little educational courses to share what I have learned, because it's changed my body, changed my life, changed my everything. And the webinar that I was listening to today, the doctor went out in the woods, lived off eating berries, detoxed his body, and the stuff that he learned about the poisons that are in our country, and the difference between keeping your body in alkaline versus acid existence. So paying attention to your pH level. And that was something that hasn't been at the forefront for me until I met this person recently, and I was like, that's part of what I'm jumping into, and making sure you're eating the right foods for your gut and your body and your chakra balancing. And the less processed, the better. The more raw foods, the better. Not eating dead things, not eating meat. We weren't meant to eat God's creatures. We have herbivore teeth. I have this crooked tooth right here. I've actually been looking at it. If you see my eyes go down, it's because I'm looking at that tooth. They were supposed to fix it when I was younger, but they didn't, and it's okay. There's so much more to my story that it's just, it feels outraging when I talk about it to other people, but I also am here to not just spread the message about how we're doing it wrong, but how we should be doing it right. And like I said, in this family, I brought up regularly the hypocrisy of, you guys say that you're devout Christians and family is first and family is everything, but you're not here to support us in a way that you portray it to everyone else that you are. Until I had to, basically create this emergency situation, and they started helping out with our kids, because I was like, I need to step away. I'm crashing, and I need to step away for a minute. But everybody was like, we're not here to support you because you're blaming our brother. And granted, yes, I went through these phases of totally being, I'm still angry, but realizing, I have to realize that I too contributed to it by continuing to allow it to happen for so long, and not standing up for myself and not having boundaries. And that's the important part. We are full of love and light. You have to have boundaries with certain people when you realize you're not playing on an even playing field. It's not apples to oranges. And when you're dealing with a narcissist, they may not even know they're doing it, but they are subconsciously manipulating the situation to try to get you into submission. It is a control game. It is a power game. And I had to remove myself from their immediate grasp, because they were just still pulling that power. But it's like, it's the social media thing too, where they put out this pretty picture on social media, but it's not what's actually happening at home. And that is the big thing tonight that I want to talk about too, is how sexual trauma, how we've been controlled with not being comfortable with talking about what has happened to us sexually, how we've been abused sexually, because it's a traumatic event. The system is not set up to stand up for survivors or to provide you a safe place to exist. And I am speaking about it from experience, because I opened up in this divorce situation about being sexually assaulted by my own husband while he was intoxicated, being just used as a body for a physical need to be filled. And this is what we've taught in Western culture about sex. And at least that's how I learned it growing up. And it's, again, the whole do one thing, say another. And we've bred, our daughters to be submissive and to not want to talk about stuff, because what happens, the worst thing that you can do to a trauma victim, to an assault victim, is tell them you don't believe them. And when you psychologically manipulate someone enough, sometimes they start to believe, did I make that up? Did it really happen? Was it a dream? Like, no. Stop allowing that to happen. Sit up nice and tall. I didn't dream any of the stuff that happened to me. And I was put in a situation where I experienced a great deal of trauma, and forgiving is important, but forgetting doesn't necessarily, they don't need to get away with it. But I opened up, especially about, hey, what's going on in between the sheets in your house? Because our physical relationship was completely off. It started out as nothing but a relationship based on physicality. And that's where, we have destroyed an American culture. We're creating this trauma in everybody's wombs, not just women. Everybody's got a spiritual womb. And we are creating trauma within that tissue, manifested through these encounters with people who don't respect you in the same way. Every sexual encounter that you have with somebody leaves an imprint in your tissue, leaves an energetic imprint in you. Whether it's pleasure, whether it's joy, whether it's sadness, or whatever their intention is with the encounter, also gets imprinted in you. And it creates trauma in that tissue. And those are the times where we have difficulty with sensation, difficulty with pain, difficulty with fertility, all of that fun stuff. Difficulties with manifesting with cancers in female organs. And the cancer part of it is a big part of the manifestation and self-healing. Cancer is literally just a cell dying, degenerating to a point where it can't be, but it's not functioning anymore. And you can regenerate certain cells as they're going down, but once you attack it, and once you throw something like chemo at it, you can't regenerate most of that. And a lot of cancers that are diagnosed cancers, or a lot of things that are diagnosed cancer, are actually just parasites. The only person that can really, truly tell you have cancer is a pathologist. And that's after they do a test on the cells. And then there's a lot of things you can do to regenerate cells. And again, self-healing in the right conditions. But instead, our medical industry puts people on incredibly expensive and aggressive treatments that are just typically doing more damage. And a lot of times when you see people that are very successful with chemo, their mindset is a big part of that self-healing through the poison that the chemo is, because they do truly believe that it's working and have that mindset of this is healing me. Then they can actually heal by having a good mindset and having joy and doing the things to take care of themselves. But if they're going through chemo and they let the bad stuff creep in and you get back into these bad habits and bad routines again, then yeah, it doesn't help. So it's hard stuff to talk about. And that comes up for me because manifesting my own cancer by not stepping into my soul calling, my soul purpose. I've been shown that I will manifest my own by not speaking up, by not telling the truth, by holding everything in. I tell everyone else to do the opposite. And instead, I have been doing that too. I've been telling the truth on a small scale, but I need to be more open with it on a bigger scale. And these pamphlets are sitting right here to remind me: legal issues for sexual assault victims. Facts victims of strangulation and choking need to know. And I picked this one up because my ex that I'm divorcing right now is actually my original witch wound tied back to Salem. And he strangled me in that lifetime. Family honor. Because I was a witch. Kill her. In this life, they're like, oh, she's a witch, take her children. Leave her for dead. But I literally, when I talk about this kind of stuff, it feels like someone is choking me, like I get this tingling and I have a hard time breathing. And it's because he's followed me through various lifetimes trying to stop me from speaking out about what I know. And what I know is that low vibrational entities came in, took over the planet, have been feeding off humanity, turned America into a slave race. And, Yeshua came here to teach us ascension, and we're in the middle of Earth's ascension, and he's going to be back soon to come take us to Sheen. And we got to work together to build new Earth. So this one came up from when I saw this on the wall. I got this from a place called the Care Healing Center. And this is why I'm bringing it up, because it is for victims of sexual assault and survivors. And it's a free service in the area that I was living in that I didn't even really know about because I didn't look for advocacy. I didn't look for help. I've never been taught to ask for help in my life. That's what happens when you're raised by a narcissist as well. Your feelings and your needs become completely invalidated, and you're not taught how to actually look out for yourself and how to ask for help. You're taught how to look out for everybody else, and you're not really taught how to figure out what you need. And it's done on purpose, because if you can't take care of yourself, resources for survivors of human sex trafficking. This is, very passionate, becoming a big passion for me. Not doing it, but because I've been trafficked in a past life. Like, it's come up for me that, I've lived this. And as starseeds, you agree to live these just highly traumatic experiences, because when you get to a certain point, all of them are going to become relevant towards what you're doing here. And the fact that I know what these children are going through, what these humans are going through that are being trafficked, and in so many ways, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, like, you don't think about labor trafficking of like labor being trafficking, but it is. And I found this through the Rape Crisis Intervention Service of Carroll County, Maryland. It's where I found the Care Healing Center, and I had a great counselor there that I was talking to, and then she referred me to a therapist as well. So I've started working with a therapist through the Care Healing Center, who is so awesome with all the energy stuff. We've only had one session so far, but just incredibly open to it. It took a lot for me to actually be honest with her and open with her, because the previous therapist that I had, I was totally open and honest with and trusted her, and all of her notes were being used against me in court, and and being a trauma victim. Like, I know there's a boundary between patient and caregiver, but that's my point, is that this boundary prevents people from actually doing the empathetic thing. Like, if she was worried that I was in psychosis and she was really interested in continuing to help me outside of money being a thing, where was she? To stand up for me and say, no, she's actually a victim. I diagnosed her with PTSD, and the way she's been treated has been unfair. And she's been psychologically and emotionally and financially and sexually manipulated and abused for years. And no one is standing up for her, not even herself. You would think your therapist would be the one that would be able to do that for you. And I called to say, hey, I'm trying to subpoena you. Where should I send it? What's your address? And I can't even get a call back. You know, we've bred women to be in competition with each other, and they're so focused on their own, I got to do a gazillion things, that they can't even be here to support each other in community. And all the women in my life, immediate life, really mostly turned their back on me when I started opening up about all of this, because they have their own stuff going on, they have their own lives, and we're not bred to be empathetic towards one another anymore. And especially women, we're tough, we're strong, we just get through it, we just do it. So if you're one of those women who just has that approach where you we just get through it, and you don't show the emotion and all that, you just suck it up, or you're tough. And that's what we expect. So we don't check on each other. It's automatically like, well, we're strong and this is what we do. We just do everything for everyone. That's how we're built. That's how your cup runs dry. That's how your motherboard short circuits. And when we're not helping each other, and especially like just that stab in the back by women, is really, God, that's hard. It's really hard. And synchronicities, again, are such a prevalent thing. I was leaving the campsite last week and really just kind of like, try not to be disappointed in myself for the minimal things that I accomplished there. Like, I wanted to get more done there, but I was hiding in this freaking box. Yeah, that's the theme of everything. Hiding in a box. It's like hiding in a coffin. Instead of being in nature. So that's changing with this next endeavor. But I am sharing my journey and documenting it on YouTube. So I started the channel, and now I just have to upload the content that I have thus far. And I want to invite everybody to come with me as I escape the matrix and go on a hunt for healthy. How we break the matrix down from the inside by looking for the stuff that is healthy and bringing it to the people and showing them where it is and where you can get it and why it's good for you. And incorporating exercise and dance and joy and art into everything that is healing. So everybody can figure out what works for them and what their modality is. And there's a lot of people that don't want me to do that. And there's a lot of people that are already doing similar things like that, and that's phenomenal. And I'd like to learn from them, and I'd like to apply it in whatever way is possible while I create something that is also still very uniquely my own to share. But helping families heal, especially the sexual trauma, because we've been intentionally put into a space where we're not respecting sex the way that it should be respected. And as a result, it's leaving energetic imprints on our tissue, which, left unhealed, passes down to the next generation through our trauma. And they're born with this trauma that they don't even know they have. If they're having difficulties with their initial sexual relationships, yes, there's stuff that's carrying through for them, but some of it is generational that it's not even theirs. They're carrying shit for their ancestors that they don't need to be carrying, and healing it is how we work on fixing it. And we heal it with orgasms. I know, right? We don't talk about it, masturbation and orgasms, but learning how to pleasure yourself and what feels good for you so you can communicate that to a partner and realize if you're with somebody that does or does not want to give that to you, then that tells you a lot about what your match is. And I spent the last 12 years with somebody that did not match with me physically and didn't seem to care about providing the things that I was asking for. I was asking my husband to help me climax in bed. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be part of the deal. Right? That we care about each other's satisfaction and pleasure and comfort level. And I felt uncomfortable asking for the things that I enjoyed because he didn't care about whether or not I was being respected in the situation or not. And there were so many times where I literally rolled over and cried myself to sleep after having sex with my husband, because I literally was like, you don't care at all about this encounter. Like, I'm just a vessel to you. And when you can feel that in your soul, gosh, it's being like upset with yourself as well for letting yourself get into a place where you were willing to accept that and continuously accept it. But this is where, again, we've been bred in America that unconditional love is completely giving of yourself, and how selfish of me to be upset with him and make him, feel that. But, I opened up a lot about it. I knew there was something wrong. I knew that he was not invested in our physical relationship or emotional relationship the way that I was. And really, your physical relationship stems from your emotional relationship. If there's something wrong in the physicality and you're not linking up, it's because there's something wrong in the emotionality as well. And that has to get fixed first. So, I'm a hopeless romantic. And I'm like, I just want you to hold my hand. I want to snuggle. I want to put my hands in your hoodie and just get cozy and crawl on top of you on the sofa and just wrap myself around you and snuggle. And I was with somebody that's like, get the fuck off me. Don't touch me. Don't you have your space. I have my space. Sometimes, yeah, I feel that, but if you aren't willing to be cozy with your partner, then that's not your right partner. That's what your partner needs, and you're not that person, then you're not, we didn't jive. And again, like I said earlier, I stayed with him for so long because it was give him a chance. And I let other people convince me to stay in positions that I was unhappy in for so long, to just keep the peace and keep status quo. And me opening up about my awakening, realizing who we are, that I'm a starseed, what I'm here for, what's going on around us, especially in America, caused the group of religious people to turn their backs on me, paint me out as crazy, get custody of my kids. And meanwhile, I'm like, we're all supposed to love everybody. Now, granted, it wasn't that pretty the whole time because I was filled with feminine rage, and I went through multiple segments where I was just spewing acid at everybody. And, getting it out in a more productive way is preferable, but sometimes, it is what it is. But realizing the approach isn't always on point, but the ultimate message that's coming out is there. And, my ultimate message was, we're doing it wrong, and we're following false gods. We're not supposed to be cannibals. We're not supposed to be eating meat and drinking blood and worshiping one person and keeping people in fear and shame, because what does that do? It keeps you in low vibration. If you recognize that we exist with free will and that we are all pieces of God here having an experience for ourselves, and that Jesus was here to teach us how to be like him and better than him. He said, you will do greater works than I did. Like, he wasn't here to teach us to worship him. He was trying to teach us how to tap into our own spirituality, our own consciousness, and to ascend into a place where we actually did accept God's law over man's law and not get stuck in the expectations of man's law and the limitations and boundaries of man's law. Like, free will is do what you want. Make the life that you want. But remember who you are, and it's about sacred reciprocity, and this is where I put a lot of cinnamon in this. I'm being called to use my gifts more and teach people how to use my gifts more, use their gifts more as well, because I've been given these gifts to use them for good. And part of that is teaching everybody else, hey, guess what? You can do this too. That's what Jesus was here to do too. It's what Yeshua was here. I keep saying Jesus because it's the most comfortable version of the name based on my upbringing. It's what slides right out, and it's what is out there. But names are important. And using his proper name, Yeshua, Yehoshua, instead of Jesus, carries connotation with it too. But he was here going, hey guys, you can do this too. It's not just me. He was here teaching people how to do it as well. And I am here to teach people the process I've been through. I'm still going through and sharing it with you to be an example, to show you that we're not all perfect, and it is a process. It's a ladder that you got to go up. And we got to go one rung at a time. You're not skipping rungs. You got to go each one through. And when you miss one, you go back down to the beginning. God, I've done that so many times in the last 9 months. It's insanity. Yeah. So here I am, getting in front of the camera, being myself, being authentic, sharing what I know, truly what I know. And starting to offer my services to help other people working through the past life regression therapy, generational trauma, learning synchronicities, learning what your body is telling you, learning how to take care of your body, to exercise it, to move it, to eat properly for it to heal, because food is medicine. It's not something that we're supposed to be gorging ourselves on, and ultimately when you get into your light body, like, food's a human thing. When you ascend, you don't need food. You're really on a liquid diet predominantly. But that's really a big part of it. Ooh, it was 1:13:11 on the timer when I said that. 11:3:11. 1:13:11. Numbers are very poignant because everything is frequency and math before there was ever any kind of language. Dance is moving emotion when there's no words to explain what you're feeling. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I grew up as a ballet dancer, and the trauma involved that I experienced is, again, part of what's motivated me to do this and part of the story that I'm telling. But self-healing and actually getting back into dance in a capacity that I didn't think I would be able to at 40 is part of my goal here, because most dancers at 40 have ended their career or like on, their last legs because we've put them through so much torture and trauma in dance. But extending the life of your body, you can reverse age, you can self-heal, you can do things. You can do things that you never thought you'd be able to at a certain age because of the way that you take care of yourself. And that's the message that I've been assassinated for, is that I've asked people, religious people, to recognize that we were misled, that Jesus was here to teach us something, not just to worship him. We called him teacher, didn't we? He was here to teach us. And as I'm saying this, my left knee is like just itching like crazy, and it's my feminine side, and it's the knee where I have injured it so many times by putting people women especially over my own needs, but that itch is usually something releasing and working on feeling better, because you got to get it out. You can't heal it if you don't feel it. So, with that said, that's kind of an overview of where we're going from here. Of me, I've used this podcast to really kind of rant about my personal experience and the things that have been done to me, mostly sexual assault related, in my life, and abandonment from my family. And again, the focus on bringing up again that National Suicide Prevention, like, everyone here is valuable. Don't give up. There's nothing so bad that is worth you taking your own life. It can always get better. And most of the time we are pushed to the brink in that feeling because we're in an unhealthy situation where other people are making us feel so worthless that we don't think there's any other option. And I want you to know that there's always, always another option. And giving the people the safe place. I opened up about the suicidal ideation I was experiencing prior to my spiritual awakening, and it was used by my ex in court to call me an unfit mother and get custody of my kids. No one said, oh, well, what about the fact that she wanted to commit suicide because she was in such a loveless marriage and relationship with somebody who kept telling her that she was making it up? And it's like, well, no, I'm not making up the fact that you don't give me the things that I'm telling you I need to be happy in this relationship. Why do you stay with someone that doesn't give you what you need when you're asking for it? That's also a message to me, because I am sitting here looking at this pink guitar that I've been scared to play because it's trauma trapped in my tissue. And my twin flame really wants me to play some. I really want to play some music on the inside. I really want to make some music, and it's been a challenge. And there's no difference between public and private life. There's no hiding anymore. I've got all these instruments that I've been sitting here looking at, and these loop machines and guitars and pianos, and being asked to play them. And I've been so scared to play them because of trauma trapped in me from past lives. So join me on this journey as I really open up super authentically about where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I am here to discuss, and calling out the stuff that doesn't make sense. Because when we all go, oh, why do we do that? That's the kind of stuff that you have to be willing to change. And I have to be willing to be more committed to playing this guitar. So I am going to wrap up here. I am going to invite you to continue following me. I'm going to share my YouTube channel that has no content yet, but it will this weekend, I promise. And I have another podcast that I was working on for a while that I took a hiatus on, but I'm going to pick that back up. And follow me on this journey, because I'm documenting literally me giving up everything and going into the woods for a while, into the beach, and doing this whole cross-country trip of healing so that I can really become a vessel again. I was a vessel. The master appears when the teacher appears when the student is ready. And I am finally getting to the point of ready by surrendering and getting rid of everything and going out on this cross-country, but also using my voice and speaking out, and not being afraid about what's going to happen to me as a result of telling the truth. So let's pick a quote to read as a close. Like I said, Spirit gives me stuff through books and this page. Oh. It's got a sticky note in it. It says Faces of Trauma. And that's really poignant in showing the outward I can see in people that are going through trauma, but looking at yourself at the stages through your life and seeing how you can spot what's going on. And right now, just with this breakout stuff, again, this is me breaking out because my gut, I have been binging some donuts recently, and it's an emotional response that I have to trauma and unresolved trauma. and blocking the heart chakra. So we're getting back on track and cutting out the donuts and getting that skin taken care of, getting that gut taken care of. So the page, both of these are very important. The first one, it's from August 21, 8/21, which as it's called, I am dubious as to how far we can move toward global community, which is the only way to achieve international peace, until we learn the basic principle of community in our own individual lives and personal spheres of influence. And that is why I'm getting out of here, because I'm in the wrong, I don't have a community here. I'm looking for my community and my tribe, and it's out west. Those are my people. Getting called to the desert, I'm getting called to Arizona, I'm getting called on this loop of like Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine, Michigan, and coming back down and going down the coast, North Carolina, South Carolina. I need to hit West Virginia and Virginia in there, Florida. Like, there's all these places that I need to hit where I'm doing soul reclamation and seeing things and sharing it and evaluating what's happening, because I've been traveling around to all these places, these hometowns, and finding places that are cute and doing it right. And, you know, the biggest thing that I see running through is ice cream. Is this dairy that we are pumping into everyone is America's favorite treat. And it is absolutely killing our guts. Yeah. But the community, what's the tone of the community in your hometown, in where you're living? Is it like a cute main street? Is it a suburban, you know, ticky-tacky little boxes? Everybody's competing. Are you in the city where it's just hustle and bustle all the time and no retreat? Because that matters. The second one is, that was page 246. It is not impractical to consider seriously changing the rules of the game when the game is clearly killing you. And again, it being National Suicide Prevention Month, when the game is killing you, when you're to the point where your body is dying, your mind is dying, and it's not creating anymore, it's not regenerating, time to get out. Time to get out. So, I'm returning to self and being my authentic self again, and thank you for being here, for sharing this message, and letting me ramble. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and I need to get some rest. I got a long day tomorrow, and I'm trying to get into a better routine, and I'm going to share a schedule of when I'll be going live. I'm going to be doing some live stuff. Tomorrow, I'm going to go live from the Hosier concert at Hershey Park, because I'm going to see Hosier, and I'm super excited, and live music just feeds my soul, and I got this new camera, and I can't wait to take some pictures. And then Saturday, I'm going to be a kid and go to Hershey Park. I got a discounted ticket with my concert ticket, and yes, what you spend your money on matters, and Hershey is this like ultimate conglomerate that is poisoning our children. So I'm going to pay attention to what's going on in that regard, but also I'm going to get on some freaking roller coasters. So I am doing a self-care weekend before I go out into the woods. We're going to a concert. We're going to feed our inner child and get on some roller coasters, and then I'm going to get a massage and do lymphatic drainage and chakra balancing, I believe, was part of the treatment as well, which I need. And then I'm going out into the woods and cleaning out the storage unit. But then I get more live music next weekend. I'm going to a festival at the beach that I bought the tickets for like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And it's 3 days, and it is going to be phenomenal. I'm really excited about just being a little fairy and taking my hula hoop and some glow sticks and just fucking shit up. The inside, break the matrix from the inside. With joy. Doing the things you love will actually flow other things into your life in such beautiful ways. So I'm ready for that flow to come back. It's been stop and go and stop and go and stop and go for 9 months, and it's time to go. Oh, with that said, let's play our theme that's off Epidemic Music. Okay, stay tuned. I'm going to put some links in the show notes for my podcast, my 2 podcasts I've been working on. This is one of them. The other podcast for the YouTube channels that I have been building, for the socials that I am sharing, and for the class I will be starting on Monday. And we're going to have a fun little schedule of things that I am going to be teaching. And it's going to be also like, here's my knowledge that I've had, but also here's the experience I'm going through right now, and helping you learn from my mistakes, helping you learn what I've done before that has worked and hasn't, so you can make it your own. And then we go from there. And yeah, join me as we build together and we grow together and we build new earth together and heal our inner children, because that's, again, the source of the trauma that we're going to be getting into is identifying those generational things and past life things that are coming through for you in this life, and how to unblock those, and teaching you how to figure it out, because it's not about everybody else figuring it out for you. I can help you connect some dots, but you're the one that lived it. You're the one that's been there the whole time. And that's why we are our own best self-healers, because we're the ones that actually lived it and can know what's going to help us. Getting pointers, getting tips, getting this is what worked for me, you can try it. Great. But you know for yourself better than anybody else does once you get in there. So yeah, thanks for being here, and I'm excited to do more of this. And I will be having some guests on, because I've met some really amazing people with incredible stories that deserve to be heard and need a platform and need to get in front of the camera. So I plan on bringing in some guests as well, and having some other light workers share their experiences, having other people who have dealt with the narcissistic abuse, the sexual abuse, what you've experienced as a child that has shaped you into what you've experienced thus far as an adult, and how we get through that. So, love you, and good night. Oh, I forgot to mention I wrote a Christian rap song. It's on SoundCloud. I'll save it. I'll share it.